of rasgulla. Many years ago, Iran had trade relations with the Vijayanagar kingdom. Many traders and travelers from Iran used to visit Vijayanagar. Once, a rich businessman came from Iran. According to the tradition, he was welcomed in Vijayanagar. He was treated honorably and given a place to stay in the royal guest house. The king had ordered the royal servants to take care of all his needs. The businessman's name was Firdaus. After the dinner, the king ordered the royal cook to serve rasgullas to Firdaus in his room. The royal cook served Firdaus the rasgullas in a silver bowl. But to the king's surprise, Firdaus did not eat the rasgullas. He sent the bowl back to the king. The king asked the cook, "Why did our guest not eat the rasgullas? Have you made them sweet enough?" "Yes, your majesty, they are very tasty. You can check for yourself if you wish to." "Then why has Firdaus returned the sweets?" "Your majesty, he did not even taste the sugar syrup of the rasgullas. He insisted on eating the roots of rasgullas." "Roots of rasgullas?" the king exclaimed in surprise. The king got surprised now. He had never heard of the roots of rasgullas. But he wanted to get them, as he always wanted his guests' wishes to be fulfilled. Next morning in the royal court, the king asked the courtiers if anyone knew where to find the roots of rasgullas. One of the courtiers said, "Ha! There is no such thing as roots of rasgullas. The guest must be told to leave our kingdom for making such foolish demands." Another courtier said, "Your majesty, you can tell your guests that maybe the roots of rasgullas grow in Iran, but they are not available in Vijayanagar." But the king was not satisfied by these explanations. Then Tenali Raman said, "Do not worry, your majesty. I'll arrange for the roots of rasgullas. All I need is a plate and a large sharp knife." The courtiers and the king were surprised. They wondered how and from where Tenali would get the roots of rasgullas. An hour later, Tenali returned to the royal court. He had a knife in his hand and a golden bowl covered with a piece of muslin cloth. With great elan, he said, "Your majesty, here are the roots of rasgullas." Everyone glanced at each other with surprise. Then the king also got curious and said, "Show me the roots of rasgullas, Tenali." But Tenali insisted, "Your majesty, I think the guest Firdaus deserves to see and taste it before us. So I am sending these to his room." But the king was so curious to see the roots of rasgullas that he said, "Tenali, I'll ask the servants to call our guest Firdaus to the royal court. Then he and all of us can see for ourselves what the roots of rasgullas look like." Soon the royal servant went to the guest house and asked the Iranian businessman Firdaus to be present in the royal court. In the royal court, Firdaus was welcomed honorably. Then Tenali said, "Sir, here is your wish fulfilled. I have brought the roots of rasgullas as you had wished for." Firdaus eagerly took the golden bowl. He took off the cloth and tasted what was served in it. He exclaimed, "This root of rasgulla is so sweet and tasty. It is not found in Iran." The king and the courtiers watched with their mouths agape. The Iranian businessman was contentedly chewing the pieces of sugarcane which Tenali Raman had cut into small pieces. The king and the courtiers laughed heartily and praised Tenali for his intelligence.